Hello and welcome to Knit Cheek. My name is Natalie and I am the cheek behind Knit Cheek, and you're watching episode 13 of my knitting podcast. Welcome, welcome. It is a cozy day in Southern California. It's Saturday morning. It's been a little chilly. It feels like fall in Southern California. And it's made me think of why it bothers me so much when people push like Christmas in November. And I think because of the climate in Southern California, it's like everyone pretends it's fall in September and October, and then November they want it to be Christmas and winter. But it's like it doesn't feel like fall in Southern California until this year. It was the last week of October. So it's like as soon as it actually feels like fall, everyone's like, all right, we're changing to Christmas. So I think that's my like peeve about Christmas coming too early. Also, my birthday is December 3rd, which is like the first weekend of December. And I've always like pushed Christmas in my mind until after my birthday. So Christmas will not be happening in the Cheek household until the weekend after the 3rd, which I can't remember what day that's going to fall on this week, but usually I get the tree sometime after the 3rd. I'm hoping this episode is going to be fairly short this week because this is my third attempt at filming this. I did originally film it last weekend, and while editing realized that my microphone was no longer working properly. It had like a really bad echo. So I did get a new microphone that my uncle sent me. Thank you, Uncle Mike. It's working great. So we are all set up here and ready to film now. Let's get started talking about my finished item this week, and that is the Night and Day Cowl by Andrea Mowry. This pattern is a recent release. I think she came out with it like a little bit before Rhinebeck, and I saw it and thought of a project that I can do with a couple leftover colors. I had two skeins of colors that I thought looked really good together, and I was thinking about knitting a Harlow hat, but then bought the pattern and got really intimidated by two-color brioche in the round. So pivoted, and this ended up being the perfect project. So here she is. I think this spin cycle color ended up looking so good with this clay color by Walcott's, and I actually didn't even like this Castaway spin cycle color on its own. I was like, it's kind of blue and cool tone. It doesn't really match anything, but with this color, I really like it. So it just goes to show you that sometimes, you know, if you pair things together, like you might like it. I don't know. So this was knit up in a skein of Walcott's Origin High Desert and a skein of Spin Cycle Castaway. So this project was kind of a scrappy project. I had like most of a skein left of that Walcott's Origin color from my weekend hat, and I had a full skein of the Spin Cycle. I ended up using, I think, 65 grams of the color A, which is the clay color, and 50 grams of the color B, which is the Castaway Spin Cycle color. So 210 yards of the color A and 150 yards of the color B. If you're looking to make like a scrappy project, I knit the size adult small. Couple of notes on this project. While I was knitting it, I don't know why I didn't understand the construction on the pattern. There's a clearly written or drawn diagram, so I really don't have an excuse of why I did not understand what I was doing. But I did not. I don't know. I was knitting it and you increase. And while I was increasing, I thought that I was knitting like the pointy side, which actually you're increasing the side that goes around your neck, the edge that goes around your neck. And I had a little bit of problems with my tension there. If you can see, this is real sheet tight. This is tight. And if you stretch my bind off edge, it's almost the opposite. It's like too much. But I was so afraid that my I-cord bind off edge was going to be too tight because I had that happen with another project that I made, and I like knit the I-cord bind off too tight. So I had that in my mind, but I wasn't thinking about the I-cord edge that I was knitting the whole time. And after I kind of looked up some tutorials and found that when you're increasing and decreasing along an I-cord edge, it can change the tension and make it tighter. That going forward to knowing if you are knitting this, the side that you are increasing on with your I-cord edge, make sure that you're not doing that too tight. There is a tutorial online that I'll link below from Stephen West about an I-cord boost where you can kind of add more stitches to make that more stretchy. But because this is a 2-color I-cord bind off, I'm not sure how you would have to do that like at least once in every color. That way it looks uniform, I think. But just a note, I'm not sure if that would work or not. My only other note about this is that this side really curls. The side that when you're wearing it here curls pretty bad, and I did block it and like try to lay it flat, and when I first put it on I try to lay it flat, but after a while it usually curls, and I don't know if that's because that bind off was too loose because I was probably overcompensating, or if that's something that other people have found as well. I thought maybe you could do like a purl row or a 1x1 row right before you bind off, because I think the I-cord would hide that. But those are just thoughts. It really doesn't bother me, but I just, it's something that I noticed and wanted to give advice if you decide to knit this. I was also watching Young Folk Knits, and Casey was talking about how another knitter, I don't know who, was suggesting that when you seam the back of a cowl, like with this construction, that you only seam half of it. So this, I seam the whole thing. You would stop halfway and not seam the bottom part. That way this would open. And she said that allows it to lay better and like less, I don't know. So I'm curious if I unstitch this and did that, if the flippiness would be less as well. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing on and just leave it on for the rest of the video. So yeah, I can get this thing on. It's not hard to get it on, but I definitely wish that the edge that I had to put my head through was a little bit looser. If I magically changed personalities and became someone who like blew out my hair every day, it might be an issue, but I don't, so it's fine. You can see now that I'm wearing it that the edge will kind of flip up, and Peaches is joining us. Nope, she's not. Okay, bye. Did I mention that I knit this in 1 week? I don't think I did. So it's confusing because I've filmed this a couple times, so I'm like, I don't remember what I said. But I cast this on a Friday. This is Fridays ago now, but I cast it on a Friday. I think the day I was editing my gift knits video. And then the Friday after I finished. So it was exactly 1 week that I cast on and blocked 7 days later. I think I weaved in my ends like a couple days later, but that doesn't count because it had to dry. So this was a really, really quick project for me. I felt like it was really engaging with the 2 colors and like the spin cycle color, especially because it changes and you're like, oh, what is it going to look like the next row? So it's like real potato chippy and overall really engaging, but very easy to memorize the pattern, to knit on the go. I don't know. I definitely really liked it, and I would definitely knit it again. And if I knit it again, I would like be more wary with my I-cord edging and maybe try something to do with the flipping. So yeah, let's move on to whips. My first work-in project is a new project to the channel. I cast this on, when did I cast this on? I think like a couple of days after November 1st. These are the November Colorwork Cuff Club socks by Summer Lee. She released a pattern in August where you pay one price and then every month for a year you get a new colorwork design. And so at the end of the year, if you knit this pattern every month, you would have 12 pairs of socks. And the pattern is like, I can't remember how much exactly it is, but it's under $20. I want to say it was $14.99. Don't quote me on that. But it's been really fun. I did knit the August socks. I'm actually wearing them right now because it's a little chilly in the house, and they definitely were a little bit of a struggle for me. My first colorwork socks, not my first colorwork ever. I think I made like a koozie one. I struggled a bit with tension, all the things they warn you about. I had to learn the same way. I like, you can't tell me. I had to do it and find out myself. The thing about them, I think that I realize what bothers me is like, if you saw my socks, you'd be like, oh, those are handmade socks. Like, you did not buy those at the store. And I don't know why, but like as a knitter, you want things to look like store-bought for some reason. And I realize that that's not an issue, right? Like they are handmade socks, so it's okay that they look handmade. The tension's a little wonky. One sock is weirdly shaped. The second sock was easier. And so now this is my third colorwork sock that I've been working on. And I think it looks way better. The tension, I mean. I also feel like because this pattern has solid stripes within the colorwork, like even though you're changing colors, you have like a solid row of one color where you're not changing. So it definitely helps with the tension. I'm still struggling a little bit with the tension within the X's, and I'm not really sure why. Other than that, I mean, I'm really happy with my improvements. I'm happy with this sock. I am not looking forward to weaving in these ends. Oh my God. Okay, let's put that back in there. But yeah, I cast this on like I want to say November 4th, whatever like the Sunday was after the 1st of November. And I whizzed through the colorwork in like one night. I think actually I almost finished it in one night, and then like the next day I finished the rest of it. And Mr. Cheek was watching a scary movie, and I was like not watching it, but sitting next to him, pretending not to watch it because I don't like scary movies that much. Anxiety. I had this brilliant idea that I was going to cast on the second sock before I finished this color work because I wasn't using the main color. So I was like, I'm going to cast on the second sock, use all the main color that I need. That way I could knit both of them kind of simultaneously. And so I gave myself enough of the main color for the second sock so that I could add this one in here with the larger needle sizes. And basically what I'm trying to say is I thought I was so smart and I was going to cast on the second sock and I didn't leave myself enough main color, which is just so silly. I need one more row of that main color and I didn't leave myself enough room. So now I'm going to have to wait until I'm done with this sock to do one row of the main color and then start the color work. I did turn this thing inside out trying to find another end, but I couldn't find one. And now I have 2 more ends to weave on this already very heavy end weaving sock. So silly Natalie. I do have a little bit of a head start on my second sock when I'm ready to go on that one. And I am whizzing by this foot. I didn't have stitch markers with me to count while I was knitting this, so I've just been knitting it. I think I'm going to knit a little bit longer than my last ones, like maybe 5 stitches or 5 rows. But other than that, I don't have much to say about my colorwork socks. So yeah. All these colors are from Knit Picks Stroll. So I bought like a bunch of colors as soon as she had come up with the idea to do this or like released the idea to do this. I have a friend who were doing it at the same time and she told me like, oh, Knit Picks Stroll is on sale. So I went in and I bought a bunch of colors and then like, I don't know, a couple weeks later I went and bought more colors because I wanted to be able to like go into my stash and have an array of colors to pick from every month. And Knit Pick Stroll is pretty affordable, especially with the sale. I think each, 50-gram skein was between $5 and $6 depending on what sale was going on at the time. Are you done? I had a lot of fun putting this color combination together. And I've already thought of like another color combination for this exact pattern, but I don't know if I'll get around to knitting that because I still haven't knit her September one. I only knit the August socks, and I know she's going to come out with one every month, so we'll see. But if there's like a month that I don't like or a month where it's easy and I can knit the socks really quick, maybe I'll come back to this pattern because I really liked it. Yeah, so those are my socks. My second work in progress is the Barbara shawl, which I haven't done a ton of work on. I don't know what it is about this pattern that I take it with me everywhere. It's in my bag, I'll show you, but it's like, I think it's because I cannot memorize the pattern. I don't know why, I just cannot memorize it. It's like a 12 pattern repeat and I just have not memorized it. So I kind of have to carry around a little piece of paper with me. And it's no big deal, but I just find myself reaching for my socks every time we're out and about. So this is my current everyday bag. It's a Portland leather bag, and it's been really great for knitting because it's like open there. And if you spotted this in here, this is my project. It's in a little like Rhinebeck. I don't know what kind of bags these are, but I really like them. because you can throw them into your purse with a small project. My friend brought me this back from Rhinebeck because she goes every year, and so now I have a little bit of Rhinebeck at home. And this is where the barber shawl is living. Here's my little piece of paper, and I like screenshotted just the 12-row repeat and printed it out, and then I have a little like piece of highlighter tape that I move on whatever row I am on. I feel like you could memorize this pattern. I just haven't. And it's not difficult, but I don't know, I just haven't memorized it. It's a really cool broken garter stitch. That's what it's called. So this is the barber shawl. And I'm knitting this in this really pretty like tweed blend. It's this yarn that has everything in it. It has silk, alpaca, yak, merino, and then whatever the tweedy bits are called. I can't remember what it's called, but it was called something. It's a really pretty brown. I feel like I would totally get a lot of wear out of this. I have barely cracked, well, I don't know, into my 150 gram skein, and I have 2 more skeins, so I have 150 grams total. I am going to knit this until I am about a little bit less than 75 grams left, and then I will start decreasing so that I have a symmetrical shawl and I use up all of my yarn. So that's the plan with this. I really want this and I want it to be done, but I don't know why. It's just I've been struggling to find time to knit on it. I take it with me everywhere. But I also have been just like, this is all nice in its little bag, and then I just throw my socks in my bag as well. So I'll put that down and hopefully I get some more work on that next week. I have also been really dedicated to trying to finish my book club cardigan, so that is why that has been kind of on the back burner. Oh, that's at the perfect temperature. Next up, I have my book club cardigan, which is a cardigan by Sari Nordlund, and I knit this up in Quince & Co. Lark in the color Gingerbread, which is a beautiful like brick red color. And here she is. So I finished a sleeve, and then I am working on my second sleeve. So I finished the body of this and I knit a sleeve, and I was feeling really not confident that this was going to fit right. The body was small and the sleeves were super tight, and I have only knit a few garments before, so I know that, you know, gauge and when you block things, things are going to grow. And I trusted that the body would grow enough to fit right because the body has a huge circumference, so I knew it was going to grow a good amount. But the sleeves are smaller circumference, so I was really nervous that they were going to be too tight. So I ended up throwing it on some waste yarn and I blocked it. This is where I am with the book club cardigan, and I feel like the sleeve is too tight, so I want to do a fit check. So I'm going to do a quick mid-project block to see if I need to undo this and make it less tight. I didn't want to do this because I really wanted to do one of those like videos where you try on a sweater before and after you block it and it like is done. So I didn't want to do like a fit check block, but I'm so glad I did because I was almost ready to rip out the sleeve because it was so tight, and it's not tight. It totally fits fine. Crisis averted. But the sleeve was about 2 inches too long. So I did not rip it out yet because why would I do that? I started the next sleeve, and I'm actually working on the ribbing like 2 inches before I did on the other sleeve. So once I'm done with this sleeve, I need to rip this one out about to here and then redo my ribbing. And then I can move on to my button band, which I'm really nervous about because I don't know the technique for this button band, and it's something I've never done. So yeah, I'm just obviously going to be anxious about it, but I'm also excited to learn whatever it is. I don't even know what it is, but I know it's different from what I've done in the past. I am hoping to finish the sleeves this weekend, Saturday morning, so it shouldn't be a problem. And then next week to cast on the button band and see how quick I can do that. And then all that's left is the pockets. I would really like to be able to wear this for Thanksgiving and to the SoCal Fiber Festival, which is next weekend. So is that next weekend? Oh my God, no pressure. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna really have to amp it up if I'm gonna get it done in time, because it would be really lame to go with like pocket seams. Like obviously I didn't finish. A little update. I'm totally fine on yarn. There's been kind of like a little freak out of a lot of people who've been knitting the Book Club cardigan, because I was in a cowl originally, didn't finish in time, and a lot of people ran out of yarn. So if you are going to knit the Book Club cardigan, definitely check out the project page and try to find someone your size or someone who's using a similar yarn, and make sure to read their notes to see how much extra yarn you should get. The original pattern was written for like to be held double with like mohair, which I didn't do. I just knit this straight up in a worsted weight yarn. So that could be the issue. But I ended up having to order, I think, 150 extra grams of yarn, so 3 extra skeins. I was still nervous that that wasn't going to be enough. I would have been more comfortable with a 4th skein, but I couldn't find one in this dye lot. They had sold out, and I was really struggling to find one, and I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to think about it. I'm just going to see if I have enough. And with my needing to shorten the sleeves, I'm not even worried about it. I'm going to have enough. I'm definitely going to have enough. Like worst case scenario, for some reason, if the button band takes way more yarn than I think it's going to, like the pockets would only have a little bit of the color, and then I'd have to change to another color. But I'm not even worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I think we're good. When I'm done, I will definitely weigh it. I will tell you my stats so that if you're thinking about knitting it too, you will have kind of an idea. I also would really like to cast on a new sweater. So I'm kind of doing this thing where I'm like, oh, I can't do that until I finish this, but I don't know. I feel like people don't do that, but it's just a hard habit that I'm having to break. And I don't know. I'm going to definitely finish this before I cast on another one. I don't think I could do it. I don't mind having multiple projects on the go, like socks and cowls and a sweater, but I would feel really weird about casting on a second sweater. Even though this is a cardigan and I would be casting on a sweater, I think I would be tempted to work on the sweater, and I really want to get this done because I'm at the point of where I like have to do things like pick up button bands, pick up sleeves. Like it's not just the body. I think in the future, when I get a little bit more confidence, I will be able to do 2 sweaters at one time. So that segues into my acquisitions and my future projects. I actually do have an acquisition this week. I've been trying to save money, so I don't always. But I did buy a hank of fiber. I am a very novice spinner, so I've only spun a couple of times, and I realized that was over a year ago. And as time just slips by, I have a wheel. I got started. I watched a bunch of videos. I had somebody at my yarn store help me kind of, spin my first spins, and I really struggled with drafting, and my yarn was just like unknittable that I created. And I don't know, I didn't give up. Like I always knew that I wanted to keep spinning, but I kind of I wasn't like naturally good at it. So it was just easy to kind of forget about it. And a whole year went by, and I was like, oh, that's like unacceptable, because I actually really do want to learn how to spin, because my dream is to have a herd of sheep and my own farm and to spin my own yarn and dye my own yarn and sell it. So big dreams. So I need to learn how to spin. And this is a somewhat local dyer. I'm not actually sure where she's based out of, but I know that she is local to California. And it's Alexandria, the Art of Yarn. And she sells yarn as well as fiber. But I was really drawn to this color. I mean, this like orangey brown, dark brown, red, yellow, gold. I don't know. It's ticking all the boxes for me when it comes to colors. This is a mix of BFL, like 75% white BFL and 25% black BFL. This is 4 ounces or 100 grams, so this should give me like enough for a hat or something. If I could manage to spin anything worth knitting, but we'll see. I have been watching some YouTube tutorials on drafting. If you have any suggestions, please let me know, because I will watch them. This is really exciting me to spin. I'm really excited about the colors. I'm just going to keep flapping it around over here. Let me put this down. So that's my only acquisition this week. Like I said, I am going to SoCal Fiber Fair next weekend. We're going to go on Saturday. It's here in Southern California in Pomona. If you're going to go, totally say hi to me if you see me. I don't know if anybody who's watching this would see me and recognize me. But if you did, you totally can. If you forget my name, you can call me Cheek. It's totally fine. I feel like that's a thing. because you see someone's like YouTube name, like Knit Cheek, and then if you see somebody out in the wild, it's like, I tell you my name is Natalie every time, but you may not remember that, but you'll remember Knit Cheek, right? So you can totally call me Knit Cheek or Cheek. I don't know. I feel like there's a couple of people on YouTube who, if I saw them out in real world, I would be like the Young Folk Knits, I know that's her. I know her name is Casey, but it might not come up like in my brain right away. If the moons align and you see me, say hi. I did mention that I want to cast on a new sweater, and that is the sweater 18, and I have the Juniper Moons yarn in my stash that I would like to knit that. I talked about it in my fall knitting plans, and I am still planning on knitting that because it's still fall, but it will definitely end up being a winter project. I was thinking of finishing that for Christmas would be really great. I also would like to make a video, like a vlog style video of the sweater 18 from start to finish to see how fast I can knit that, because it is an Aran weight yarn, and I have only knit one other pullover sweater, and that was the Melange Baby by Petite Knit, and that took me a month, but I was like on vacation and stuff, so I thought it would be cool to like sit down and see how much of the sweater 18 I can actually get done and how fast I could do it. Other plans that I have are the Andrea Mari socks, her like she does this every year where the weekend of Thanksgiving she has like a challenge or where you try to knit a pair of socks in that long weekend, which after my sock knitting craze, I think I could do it. I think that's manageable. Like a basic pair of socks. It has some texture to it, but it's one color. Let me look up the name of those socks because I immediately forgot. So this year her socks are called the Oxbow socks, and she has the pattern in a fingering or a sport weight. So if you wanted to do the challenge but you're nervous about finishing a pair of socks, then you could do like a bigger weight. Yeah, so I'll put all the information down below if you're interested in doing that. If you want to see if I can do it, then subscribe to this channel. My only other plans is Pacific Knit Co. has come out with like these doodle decks cards. Am I saying that right? And I don't know where I've been because I've never heard of them. And when I saw them, I was like, this is the most genius idea I've ever seen. She has these card decks where she like releases little colorwork patterns for cowls and socks and sweaters, and they're just so genius. And her holiday colorwork doodle with the car and the tree on top is so cute. So I would definitely like to knit a pair of socks with that design. I'm gonna have so many socks at the end of this, which is okay because I'm definitely learning and like things are getting better, and I can see where this is going. So yeah, I can see myself incorporating some of her doodles into my socks. I was gonna wait and see if they had them at the fiber fair and the SoCal Fiber Fair. And if not, then I'll just order some of her designs online. That concludes this week's video. Short and sweet. Talked about, all the things that I'm doing and planning on doing and going to SoCal Fiber Fair next week. Holidays are coming up fast, like unbelievably fast. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to continue to be notified of all the things that I am doing, then please subscribe and YouTube will show you the things. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Knit Chic. Bye!